Good afternoon. Let's continue on with our video series here. We're talking about the impact of scaling on employees. So this is a video number two in this series. We're going to start talking now about the impacts on employees directly when it comes to scaling. So generally speaking, a business starts with one or two people with a vision, right? The owner, maybe a partner. And the business begins to grow beyond the owner's abilities, more the time abilities at this point. So the owner hires an employee. The owner and the employee work together. A solid business relationship develops between the two. The employee engagement is close to 100%. Everything is good. And we get off to a good start on the scaling process. And it goes on. The business continues to grow. More employees are hired by the owner. The owner and the employees are still working together. There's solid business relationships continuing to grow, and the employee engagement is close to 100% at this point. Everything is good. We're looking forward to to the next day for what the business has to provide. Now, as the process grows, the business grows where a manager is identified from the group of employees to run the day-to-day operation. So when the business owner identifies somebody to be the manager, they come in to watch the day-to-day operation so the business owner can step back and do what he or she needs to do. Makes sense, right? So there's less day-to-day contact between the employees and the owner, but the engagement is still close to 100% because everybody's still pretty much working together, even if you have one person overseeing the day-to-day operation. Now, the business starts to grow where a manager identified, and the owner is probably still hiring employees at this point. Managers overseeing, owners still hiring. Since the owner is still involved in the hiring process, he or she is periodically on the floor with the new employees to get them off to a good start. Engagement continues close to 100%, and all is good. Good stuff so far, right? Yeah. Now the business continues to grow. Additional managers are added for every 6 or 7 employees. So when you get to 6 or 7, maybe 8 additional employees, another manager will be brought in to help oversee the operation. During the continued expansion, the hiring of employees will move to the managers. And this is one of the first changes in the business that starts to impact employees. And the owner is more withdrawn from day-to-day operations. The relationships between the employees hired by the owner and the owner starts to weaken because the bond between these employees and the owner who hired the employees for his or her vision is compromised through no intention of anybody. The whole unwinding of employee engagement is a process that runs over a long period of time. That's why it's intentional that we think about it and that we don't push it off to the backside saying, sooner or later we'll get there. That is a dangerous decision when it comes to employees. We'll get them. In the meantime, they start to wane. So the employee engagement at this point starts to weaken, right? Normal stuff, nothing intentional. It just does. So the managers who are doing the hiring, and this is an important element, are not hiring as an owner, they are hiring as a manager. So the natural bond between the owner and the new employees is no longer created. Growing pains start, the engagement continues to weaken. Now, when I talk about engagement continuing to weaken, what am I talking towards? We started our engagement near 100%. The average engagement of business in the United States is 33%. So somehow it goes from 100 down to 33%. And that's what this is all about, the impact of this slide. Okay? Owners, and here's an issue. Owners do not train managers to hire employees with the same sense of family as the owner. The managers are not trained to be leaders as the owner is. They're existing as managers instead. The other shortfalls of not being trained leaders start to appear over time in the attitudes of employees, and the employee engagement continues to weaken slowly. So this is the erosion of employee engagement and how it happens subtly. So the level of engagement by the employees starts to fall over time and deteriorates to the current statistic that only 33% of employees are engaged in their work in the USA. So now it's 33 instead of close to 100 at the beginning. They become stagnant instead of engaged. And resignations come from stagnation. Employee experience is lost from resignations, which is needed to support the growth of products and services. You cannot buy your experience. The unbudgeted high cost of replacing employees is drawing cash from other pieces of the business. Nobody planned for this deterioration to occur, but it's our responsibilities as leaders to correct, or better yet, prevent this from occurring in the first place. Our most prevalent management style has been replicated throughout the decades to our demise. It will never change unless there is a new approach that is intentionally initiated. It will not happen by accident. In our next video, we're going to start to examine the cost of employee resignations. See you on the next video.